All right, new topic. We're talking to Dave Chapelle, and this is really just me. It is kind of nitpicky, and I'll be honest. I'll put that up front, right? This is a little bit nitpicky. At the same time, this is something that like strikes me in a certain way. All right, we all know the issues going on in Gaza and Palestine and Israel and all the deaths and the destruction and the craziness, and we also all know that there, maybe y'all don't know, but let me not presume. But anyway, what I've seen on my side is that there's been a very one-sided, there's been, especially at the beginning, there was a one-sided narrative which made it look like essentially the perpetrators who did the initial attack, who were Hamas, who attacked Israel, and killed many civilians, like thousands of civilians, not thousands, but like I think it was like 1,500, 1,400 civilians. Crazy stuff, right? Like ridiculous, terrible things. And then on the other side, though, that justifies essentially an indiscriminate bombing on the civilians of Palestine, right? So that's the to this, and so I bring this up because I saw an article and I saw it in the news, and I looked up the article that kind of like broke it down a little bit more. But so we all look at Dave Chapelle, right? He's a great comedian. He's a very smart dude. He's one of, arguably, what many would say is one of the more articulate, forward-thinking people in our time period, especially for the Black community, right? A lot of
I would
people
say
have a lot of respect for Dave Chapelle and what he says and what he doesn't.
Articulate, forward-thinking comedian. Let's put him in his class because,
Comedian,
like, he's not
true.
on the level of like an Obama. He's a comedian, you know. So
He's not
we
a
listen to
politician.
Chappelle. Anybody with a brain would listen to Chappelle to a certain extent, you know.
All right, yeah, agreed, right? So this is something that came out like it might have came out like a week or two after the initial attack. And I'll read the quotes, and this is from Vanity Fair. So this is a woman who's reporting from a show. Said a woman in the audience reportedly shouted, "Free Palestine," and Chappelle replied, per the Times, "Please listen, miss, or please, miss, listen. Don't start it up, or I'm going to be in the news cycle for another week." Let me share this so I can see it too. Present, share screen. All right, just so y'all can see it. All right. So starting over, a woman in the audience shouted, "Free Palestine." Chappelle replied, "Please, miss, don't listen. Don't start it up. I'm going to be in the news cycle for another week. This thing that's happening in the Middle East is bigger than everybody. This is what's happening. And believe me, I understand what's happening in Israel is a nightmare. What's happening in Palestine is a nightmare." And this is reported what he said. He added, "There's only two kinds of people in the world. People who love other people and the people who have things to make them afraid to love other people. Pray for everyone in Israel. Pray for everyone in Palestine. And remember that every dead person is a dead person." So I would like to assume that everybody reads that statement is like, hey, that's a hell of a statement. That's a powerful, positive statement. It's compassionate and something that I feel like everybody should be able to look at and like recognize as something a whole human being would say, right? So he gets pushback, and this is later or further in the article. So the pushback that he got during Chappelle show Wednesday, Chappelle said that the reports in the press are all hearsay, and that what he said about the ongoing conflict got misquoted all over the world, according to the Times. And I will not repeat what I said. And then it goes on to say it's worth noting that audience members are not permitted to have access to their phones and, stuff like that.
Yeah, I was gonna
So
say that. Yeah.
just to sum it up, my issue, and see if you guys are kind of like, if you see where I'm at on this. I feel like I see this as a backtracking. I see this as a person with influence, a person with a huge audience, and a person with, yes, a lot on the line, right? To take a powerful position, which he has in private, and in the face of, what I see so far is very light pushback, to completely 180 and hide himself and hide his true position. And all right, so I guess my question is, like, do y'all see this how I'm seeing this, or I don't
Come
know,
on, D.
any
Me.
comment, whatever.
Goodness well, I don't see this how you seeing this, man. First of all, okay, they weren't even allowed to have their cell phones
Okay.
in there. So this article saying what he said, context matters, and the way you say something matters, right? So you don't know what was said word for word. All we know was what people remember him saying, and we know
It's a
that
hearsay.
can change. Wording can change. The way he said something could change. Inferencing on certain things that he said could change, right? And I mean, we talked about this before, man. Like, Dave Chappelle can be very touchy, right? I'm sure that as many people that walked out because of what he said, there were probably just as many people that were entertained, right? And it's kind of like the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing, right? Like, Dave was just doing his job, right? He's a comedian. He's there to make people laugh, right? I mean, so some people got offended. Hey, so did Will Smith. Will Smith got offended too. So, I mean, I don't know. I really don't see. I think Dave Chappelle has probably said worse stuff about transgenders than anything that I'm seeing here that he said. I mean, he said that what's happening in Palestine is a nightmare. He's not wrong. I mean, can we imagine having bombs dropped on our neighborhoods? And, you know, I mean, Dave Chappelle gets to go do a comedy set in
That's what I'm
Boston.
saying.
Like, so, I don't know, man. I don't think he was being anything but Dave Chappelle in this
I don't think you
instance.
understand what
He's always edgy, you know?
that's okay.
He's been edgy since the Chappelle show. Remember
So I
Black
think
Bush?
that's like
Nah,
I
nigga,
don't know,
cake. We
Frank. You
got
got
cake, nigga.
Sorry.
Dude, you're making my point, right? Like, sorry, good.
No. So
You
I'm trying to gain some context here, because I'm a little confused by what I'm reading. So you're saying that he's backtracking, but where exactly did he backtrack? Because he's saying go back to the first page, if you don't mind.
It's hard to know if he backtracked when we don't know exactly what and how it was said. Of
So
course, now if the people who were most offended are giving these quotes of what he said to Vanity Fair, of course they're going to put the worst. They're
their
going to
perspective.
remember it how it made them feel.
So the first statement here, he's saying that there's only two kinds of people in the world: people who love and people that have things to make them afraid to love other people. Pray for everyone in Israel and Palestine. Remember that every dead person is a dead person. So then go to the next page, please.
And he probably had something wise as to say after that.
What the 50-year-old comic is reported to have said is that students who express support for Palestine should not be denied job offers. So right here where it says
I forgot that.
Criticize. So it says, following his condemnation of the October 7th Hamas attack, which over 1,000 Israelis died, Chapelle criticized what he said were war crimes in Gaza. He also accused the U.S. of aiding the slaughter of innocent civilians. So I'm trying to get there faster. I was just I'm like
I don't see where the vitriol for Dave Chappelle could
I
be
should have
from.
dropped the article in. Well, I dropped the article in the group, but it was like weeks ago at this point. But like, so let me just like lay this out one more time, just to like, my argument is that like, I feel like Chapelle right here in saying the people, dead people are people who die are dead people, and that they're humans, and that we should pray for both sides, the people in Israel and the people in Palestine, because the tragedies are happening, and that people should lose their jobs for supporting, like, and that the U.S. right now is supporting the slaughter of innocent civilians. I feel like these are morally correct positions that Chapelle is holding, unlike this trans thing, which I do disagree with them on. But this, I agree with them so much. And hearing that he said this at one of his shows, even if it's in response to somebody, and the fact that he, one, is a comedian, two, he speaks for a living, right? And three, there are many people, particularly black people, who look at him as if he's like fucking one of the goddamn next greats or saints in this motherfucker. Like, that he has this correct position, and then his response when asked about it is that's all hearsay. I will not repeat what I said. I got misquoted all over.
I got it. Okay, I got it now. I got it.
So maybe I was rushing through that blah blah blah, right?
I got it.
But
I got it. So he said something so profound, and now he's backtracking. He's backpedaling.
That's why I called it a backtrack. Yeah.
Okay. So
That could be for a few different reasons, right? He doesn't allow people to bring their cell phones into his comedy shows. That could be to protect future comedy projects, right? I'm sure this show with that same comic set will probably appear on a special somewhere, or we'll hear the joke. Maybe he wants to refine the joke. Maybe it was smart on his part to not. Maybe it was smart on his part to not clarify anything that he said, just to dampen the fire that it started. Like, you don't want to. It's a slippery slope, Dave. You don't want to start there. You know, politics is slippery, bro. Like, it's okay to make people laugh about things that are so serious, but it was fresh then. People are dying. You know, I think it was smart on his part not to rehash and clarify what he said. And I don't think he backtracked. I just think he threw a dampen on the fire. He dampened the fire a little bit.
But it could
I'm
also
still Team Dave.
This could also so looking at the very last paragraph, this could also mean, like what he said, like that the reports are all hearsay and he got misquoted. This could also mean that he didn't say what he said, that he said something completely different, and then saying, I will not repeat what I said, means it could be either what I said was way worse, or what I said was completely taken out of context. And it is like you're saying, you know, like they're like, people are maybe trying to get their 15 minutes and trying to say whatever has the most vitriol so that they can be in the paper or they can be in a magazine or some shit like that.
Knowing Dave Chappelle, it probably was worse.
It could have been.
I mean, but, like Juice, I think to me,
thing, right?
his comedy sets on the transgenders was way worse. I mean, if he didn't get in trouble for that, I mean, damn, what can Dave Chappelle get in trouble for?
Different issue, but like,
I don't know, supporting a genocide, maybe being like, hey,
how did he support a genocide? Stop that, Juice. Stop that. Okay. First Will Smith, now man. Dave Chappelle. Damn it, you're gonna stop coming from my Hollywood heroes, okay? Juice be coming from my folks, man.
Nah,
Bro,
it's
so you understand? Have no heroes, right? Have no heroes, dude.
don't, and especially
Okay,
don't mute
All
them.
these niggas is
let me
people.
say it's entertainment heroes. I don't know these people personally. Okay, so I mean, when I say heroes, I don't mean people I aspire to. I want to be just like him, but he's one of my heroes. I am entertained by him through several years, my childhood. So that's what I mean. You know,
Claudine saying it's an all life
Same
matters
here. I've been watching
argument.
too.
and all lives do matter, and I think that's what he was reported to have said, right? Like that, every dead person is a dead person, and it doesn't matter what the political views are. That person's dead, and it's a tragedy. They pray for everyone in
Yeah,
Israel. So I don't think
I would
I don't
argue.
think he backtracked.
Yeah, real talk. Now, why would he backtrack on that statement?
He didn't. He just
Can we define
didn't
backtrack?
expound
Backtrack
upon
is
I
what
think
saying that it's not
backpedal. It's backpedaling.
saying that it wasn't as bad as it seemed.
backpedal. Fine,
It's basically.
fine.
I mean, yeah,
What wasn't
I
as
don't
bad as
see
seemed?
where he was so terrible here. Like
I don't know.
especially when we don't have audio of what actually went down. I think if he did say something negative and to
So
really put his feet to the fire, we'd have to have some audio of it.
So the first thing that he said from the previous page was by his account, correct? Like when he said, like, a dead person is a dead person, and free Israel, free
it
Palestine.
was reported by
an audience member.
So yeah, these were all all of these are audience reported, and these were reported, and I think from the same either person or group of people who left the show, who walked out, right? So this is the article doesn't mention any names of the people who are reporting this, right? Where they're saying, essentially,
But
people
none
who
of
attended
this
the
is
show,
by
came
his
out,
admission.
reported that said,
None of this is by his admission. The only thing that
right, none of this is by his admission.
is the end where he says, "I'm not going to repeat what I said," and it's all taken out of context and it's all hearsay. That's by his account. Okay. Yeah, it's honestly hard to tell.
This is him, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to tell who, I mean, not who, but it's hard to tell what he said and if he was backpedaling. But yeah, like with the whole audience members are not allowed
Let
to
me
have
just
their
ask
phone.
this.
Yeah.
So let me ask this: am I over judging this situation and seeing this as Chapelle kind of being a sellout, man?
No.
Am I
I think you're
overdoing it?
overjudging the
Because
situation.
when I see a moral position that's right, and I don't see the person who, like, if Chapelle made this argument at his show in front of thousands of people, or whoever's hundreds, whoever 50 people, whoever's at his show, he was
He said
bold enough
about
to say
200
it
people
at the show, reportedly at the show, and he was able to make this claim, which is a moral, like, human claim as a black man, as a minority, and as a Muslim, right? Who's able to make this claim about the people dying and that all of the lives do on both of these sides, and that, like, yes, the U.S. is at this point supporting the killing of civilians. All arguments, I feel like Chapelle, in his one, he's never been quiet about criticizing the government, right? As you brought up with the cake, with the yellow cake, right? George Bush, like, he's never been quiet about criticizing the government. Like, that at this point, when we have something going on right now that's ongoing, we have so many civilians dead, right? Like, thousands of civilians dead.
I got you, Juice. You mean like that he should stand by his words?
His response being, "Yo, I ain't got nothing to say about this.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, like or say I didn't say that, and this is what I'm saying, right? Clarify, right? Because when it's reported like that, you got to take a side, because fence sitting on something like this, it's not a good look, homie, right? Like it's not
I
a good
think when
look.
you're dealing with the
So
Jewish community,
am I over judging?
when you're dealing with the Jewish community and his line of work in the entertainment business, and they are in as high up positions as they are, you got to be careful, because it's been reported by Dave Chappelle that there are a lot of Jewish people in Hollywood. Like, they kind of go hand in hand, right? So you don't want to offend the wrong people, then you'll be out of work, But I think your major problem with Dave Chappelle, Juice, is ever since that transgender, you've been out on Dave Chappelle ever since that special came out, where he went and talked about that transgender guy for the whole special.
Hey.
It's like an hour and 20. It was kind of weird how long he stayed on that guy. I'm like, why do you, like, the whole special was about this one interaction he had with this one person, Okay, well, excuse me, a woman, but still, it was weird why it was like, that's all you're going to talk about this whole special. It was weird. What's the joke called? Equanimity or something? I don't even remember. Yeah, I don't even remember. But I think you are like a lot of people. Like, when they were out on him for that.
Here's my thing, right?
They're just out on him. No, go ahead. I think you just have some bitterness towards Dave Chappelle, and that he can't do anything right now.
I still watch. I'm saying he did do something right. I'm saying he did something right. That's my argument.
Allegedly, he did something right, because us as the audience, we didn't hear it, or that it's being reported by this person that he said that. Hey, he might not have even said that at all.
He was asked about it. And his quotes were, "That's all hearsay, blah blah blah. I will not repeat what I said." I've seen him double down on being super wrong. He's down on being hella wrong. Why wouldn't he double down on being right?
Hold on. Reading this article though, like, anyway, it seems that people were just offended by what's going on, by what he said about what's going on in general, because it seems that other people exited the venue when someone shouted "Free Palestine," or when he was criticizing the war crimes in Gaza. Like, this honestly just seems to me on some level that it's just like people were just offended, I guess, by the topic being brought up, and they couldn't handle it, so they left. Like, that's what it looks like to me here on this page. So it could have nothing to do with like what he said or his views on it, but like, I think it's just maybe the situation itself would just force people to walk out, and now it's kind of like this seems like it's being spun to look like he was the ringleader in bringing up the discussion and turning it into something that offended everyone there or some. I don't know. It's just this article. I'm going to classify this as not enough information. Like straight up, not enough information. There's not enough information to go on here to judge anyone or anything for any reason. It's just, we need more information.
I also think us as the American public.
Let me go this, and I know we're not the judge or an executioner, and also don't feel like this what's going on right now. Like, what's going on in this article is not like my issue, right? Like, I've walked out of shows, right? You're not always going to agree with them, right? The comedian. There was other reports that said, one of the guys in the audience, like, after him saying stuff, was like, "Shut up," and then he had a whole back and forth with that guy. talking about you don't come to my show telling me to shut up, right? But that's not reported in this part of the article. But like the crux of my main issue, right, is really I know Chapelle is not unaware of what's going on, right? This nigga's not an unread. He's watches the news every day. Like, we know Chapelle, right? This nigga ain't got shit to say.
See, but that was going to feed into what I was saying, though, right? Like, we as the American public, including Dave Chappelle, including probably a large majority of the people that were in that audience, have to be careful about these certain situations, right? You just said Dave Chappelle watches the news. We don't really know the ins and outs of what's going on in Palestine, in Gaza. We don't know, like in Israel. We know what's reported on the news, and we know the news articles like Vanity Fair can be slandered one way or the other, you know, but we don't know the gravity of the situation of the people that live there. You know what I mean? So I think in essence what Dave was trying to say, if this article is correct, is that just respect life because lives are being lost. Like, right? Do we know who's right? Is Israel right in the situation? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I know what's reported on the news. I know innocent. All I know is innocent people died. You know what I'm saying?
I know by international law they are not right.
Well,
I know that killing like civilians on whether Hamas did it or dude, I'm just saying like
there was a quote on a show I was watching.
If all lives matter, right? And if all like all the civilians who were being killed lives matter, then no, Israel is not right, and Hamas was not right for killing those people. And
there was a quote I was watching on
Israeli citizens, right?
True, but there was a quote I was watching on a show that said, and it was very poignant, and it goes to today's world, is like their innocent lives have always been lost on every side of every war. So whether you think one side is right or the other, they've killed innocent people. You know what I mean? So if Israel is right or Israel is wrong, innocent people died because of the actions and the steps that they took. Whether Hamas is right or wrong, the innocent people died. Whether America is right or wrong, innocent people died. So I think that's where we as the public have to draw. If Dave Chappelle is free enough to do a show in Boston and talk about Israel, then we have to be careful what we say about Israel, because the people in Israel are not enjoying these same privileges as Dave Chappelle. They're in a war zone, you know, like people are being killed, innocent people, children, you know what I mean? So like we seem very privileged to sit here and joke about it and podcast about this when, you know, people over there can't. So, you know, it is what it is. But I do think you have a bitterness for Dave Chappelle, Juice. I'm telling you, I've been podcasting with you for years.
I think
you are out on somebody, you are out.
Chappelle, D.
No. When you are out on somebody,
you
you're
love
out.
Him and you can't criticize
you put me on. You yourself put me on a Joe Rogan.
You can't even think.
You yourself put me on a Joe Rogan, right? Right? Now you hate Joe Rogan because you saw one clip of him saying the word nigga for 1 minute. But you liked him at first,
I never
right?
brought that up. That's not me.
No, you brought that up, bruh.
But I did bring that up. But at the same time,
okay. So right here.
Or Joe Rogan's stupid for a million other reasons aside from that. For
you're
me,
vilifying Dave Chappelle.
Like I actually feel like that clip of Joe Rogan saying the N-word over and over again is out of context and unfair. I feel like that's actually out of context.
It did sound bad though. But when you listen to that clip, it sounds bad.
It sounds bad, but he's stupid for a lot of other reasons. Lots and lots.
Okay, listen.
Terrible reasons.
Your vitriol for Dave Chappelle is to the point where you take what somebody says that he allegedly said in an article and ask him why he's not standing on what he said. He didn't. We don't know if he actually said it. It's allegedly. So all they're doing, Vanity Fair talk to them, and that's their interpretation of what Dave Chappelle said. It's not what actually Dave Chappelle said.
If that's it, then we're cool with Dave Chappelle seeing 10,000, 9,000 Muslims being killed and not having anything to say about it. Are we cool with that?
Of course not.
Are we cool with Dave Chappelle like being like?
But Dave Chappelle's a comedian.
Not me.
Dave Chappelle's a comedian. Right?
Dave
So like
Chappelle's
we've
got a hell
already
of a
established
platform,
that.
and Dave Chappelle talks politics all the time.
True, but in a comedic way. You know what I'm saying? He's not up there to be he's not a political analyst or you know what I'm saying? Like he's up there to joke about
Does he
what's going on in the
make a
world
joke
around
about
us.
how it's bad to kill civilians?
Yeah, I think it's okay to tell a joke about how it's bad to kill civilians. Yeah, that's okay. I
I'd
think
agree.
as long as
Maybe
you
he should
tell
do
it
that.
tastefully, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe he should.
But
Maybe he should do
I
that.
don't think he said anything that requires him to be vilified even more than he already is. You know, I think you either like Dave Chappelle or you don't like him, and I think you just don't like Dave Chappelle from that one special
Not
because we
reducing my argument
podcasted. Juice,
feelings.
we podcasted about that special after we watched it, and you ever since then
Yeah.
you have not fucked with Dave Chappelle. Everything Dave Chappelle does is wrong, bro.
No, that was my
Everything.
breaking point with this nigga. He was
But you
punching
liked
down.
Dave Chappelle
I
before
can't-
that because we were talking about the other specials that came out on Netflix.
Why are you perplexed by this?
So,
I'm just saying, you can't take one special
so
and then
what's
all of a
the-
sudden you hate them.
So what's the issue? Why is it that he can't like Dave Chappelle? Like, does he have to like Dave Chappelle? He can like whoever he wants or not, or dislike whoever he wants. That's
Well, yeah, that's part of having the American freedom. But the point is, don't vilify the man for something that he allegedly said in an article where we don't know actually what he said.
Vilifying him on his current position.
Well, we don't know his
Lack
position because we
thereof.
didn't hear him say it. We didn't hear him say
Is
it.
the position.
All right. Well, I'm just saying. I feel like we're out on Dave Chappelle before this article even. This was just another thumbtack on the wall for you to throw at Dave Chappelle.
Definitely an argument in favor of me being out on Dave Chappelle. So I'm throwing that out there. Agreed. This is an argument on why.
Disagree completely, bro.
Mayhaps we should think.
Hey, don't mayhaps me, bro.
Hey,
don't mayhaps me.
You know what I'm saying? Mayhaps we should, pause our engagements with Dave Chappelle and his, I don't know, whatever.
I think Dave Chappelle's gonna be in DC in the next couple of months, man. You wanna go see him?
Yeah, Claudine said that he's gonna be here on the 30th.
Yeah. Juice will heckle the shit out of this dude.
If you
don't heckle Dave Chappelle, man.
I'm not making myself a target, my nigga. Hey,
yeah.
If you buying tickets, I'm going.
Yeah.
If you buying tickets, I'm going. Hell yeah.
Hey, damn, bro. Right. No, you can't support Dave Chappelle financially?
Nah, can't do that.
I'm telling you, man, when you were out on somebody, you were out, bro. They cannot redeem themselves. Like you offer no forgiveness, bro. Okay. That special was bad.
I have forgiveness, like abounding forgiveness. Like, hey, if he was like, yo, I feel like it's bad that Israel is also killing. I feel like if he came out and said, if he came out and had a position that was a moral position, well, I think it's a moral position. That would be like, hey,
you would forgive him.
Hey, Dave Chappelle is a hero. Who do for standing up and being brave and standing up against the Jews at the top, as you said it. Hey, I'm quoting deep, the Jews at the top, right? Like, shout out to the nigga for being that brave and that strong, because he wouldn't be the first one.
I feel you.
There's other celebrities that came out and have done it, right?
I do feel like,
man, dude's got balls, but he didn't. He was like, that's hearsay, and you'll never. He said, quote, and I will not repeat what I said, which means fucking stop talking to me.
Exactly. Fuck out of my face. But he was probably just tired at that point. I do think it would have gone a long way in redeeming Dave Chappelle in your eyes if he would have stood on his morals and said, you know what? If he would have said what you thought he should have said that moment, I think it would have redeemed him for you. I think he would have gave Dave Chappelle some kudos.
On the wrong side of it, like he did with the trans thing. If he came out on the wrong side of it, right? With the trans thing, I'd be like, hey, he's wrong, but at least he said it.
It's like Kanye. It's like Kanye. You've been out on Kanye for years, but you still give him credit for saying Bush doesn't fuck with black people.
I love Hitler, man. I don't know what.
Hey, Frank, I told you when Juice is out on somebody, he's out, dog. But you was on his side. When you was on his side when he said fuck Bush, you was on his side when he said fuck Bush, though. You was with him. So wait.
Time.
So what if Kanye West came out what if Kanye West came out tomorrow and said, I condemn Israel for everything they're doing and everything that you wanted Dave Chappelle to say? What if Kanye said that? Like, would that would be okay?
I'm like,
Because
hey,
because you agree
he's
with what
right.
he said, right?
Yeah, it's because he's right. Because he's right.
So now because
I'll be like,
I
yes,
agree with what you
Kanye's
said,
crazy
you're
ass is
okay.
right on this topic, but he still loves Hitler. We should probably take that into consideration. But he is right here. He's right here on this, but he still really likes Hitler. So
He did not say he loved Hitler. I'm sure we have a podcast on that
pull up
too.
the clip, D.
He said
We have a
yes,
podcast on that.
He absolutely
I don't know.
He said
I don't know if he
said
said
in
it.
quote.
What?
He said it just like this. He said just like this. He said, "I love Hitler." He said it just like that.
I think I remember seeing that,
Christ.
but I think also the context behind that was like Hitler was a great man, not great in the sense that he was a good man, but great in the sense that of history, right? Like 100 years later, we still remember Hitler. So, right, like you can't. Of course, he's a villain okay, but I think that might be
Like,
some of the context of what he said.
I think
I don't think.
when you
How
like
can you
somebody,
love
you
Hitler?
can never unlike them. I think that's the issue. When you're
No,
on to somebody,
I think the thing is,
turn your back on that person.
I think the thing is,
Especially if you
I
don't
don't know Kanye or Dave or Joe Rogan well enough as a person to unlike or dislike them. All I can judge them off is their entertainment factor, how entertained I am by you. All right, like Will Smith. I don't know if Will Smith's
you
a
like
good
them?
person, but I'm
you like
entertained by Will Smith, so I like Will Smith. You know,
Wait,
like
that doesn't
Kanye.
make any sense.
What do you mean?
So you have to know them
I think you hate.
You have
I
to
think
know
you
them
hate.
personally to dislike them, but you don't have
Yes.
to know them personally to like.
No, you don't have to know them personally to either like or dislike. It's
But
hard
you said
to.
you like Will Smith, but
Right.
you don't know him.
I don't. But I can also I don't like Donald Trump, but I don't know him. You know what I'm saying? Like I can disagree with some of the things he does.
So you can dislike somebody you don't know. So what was it?
True.
What does it take for you to dislike somebody then? I love Hitler's not enough.
You probably have
What
to
else?
do something really villainous. I mean, I can't dislike you for something you allegedly
Hitler's
said that
pretty
got
bad.
repeated. They got repeated through somebody who may or may not be remembering everything that you said. You know what I mean? Like it just depends, man. Like if Will Smith
Claudine
had a
doesn't know
slapped,
Hitler, and she knows that she don't like him.
well, yeah, okay, Hitler's a bad example. Who's gonna like Hitler? You know, right? So,
Okay.
but I'm saying for Kanye to say that, I don't know where Kanye's mental is well enough for me personally to decide whether I like or dislike Kanye because he said that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if
we
Dave
have a good
Chappelle,
idea of where his mental is. We have a pretty
I
good
don't think
idea
so.
of where
We
his
don't know
mental is.
him. I think the persona you show somebody in public is different than the persona you have in private. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like the old adage, you don't really know somebody till you live with them. You know what I'm saying?
Unless
So
you're
like
a crazy person, because crazy people sometimes really can't make that
I
distinction
think
between public and private.
for us as
Private is
fans,
public.
it's impossible to say we know Kanye West. We don't know Kanye West. We don't know where his
We
mental
don't.
state is. We don't
Fair
talk to
enough.
Kanye. All we know is what he says on TV and what he says in music.
Yes.
You know? So that's
Yes.
all we have to judge him by. Now you can either like or dislike him, but I might not have liked Kanye saying he likes Hitler, but I don't hate Kanye for saying that he likes Hitler. Does that make sense?
I don't hate
Kanye. I don't hate Will Smith for slapping Chris Rock, or I don't not like Will Smith for slapping Chris Rock, but I don't hate him for it. Like all I can judge him off is his movies. Were your movies entertaining to me? You know,
Hey,
like
D,
did Kanye entertain me with the College Dropout?
I don't
Yes, you
hate
do.
Dave Chappelle
Yes, you do.
for not standing
Yes, you
up.
do. Yes,
That's
you do.
your
You hated Dave Chappelle.
I don't.
You
I
hated
don't
Dave
hate
Chappelle from that
For
transgender.
not standing up. I dislike him for not standing up. I don't hate Dave Chappelle for having to be in the wrong position.
You do hate Dave Chappelle, but I got
transgender on calling himself a TERF, right? Like
I totally forgot about that TERF
for that jump, right? But I don't hate the nigga. I don't even know the nigga to hate him. Hating is a really
you do hate him.
thing, right?
It's a very strong word.
I dislike this nigga. Yeah, like, I dislike him, and I feel like he's empty. I feel like he's vapid and empty, man. I feel like Dave Chappelle really is like the greatest disappointment for me because I know the nigga smart. And I know because you could see in the way he does his craft. Dude's a genius. And I also see him taking that and just like balling it up and like tossing it like pearls before swine.
See, that's where the hate comes in. That's where the hate. That's where the hate comes in. Because I don't feel like you can dislike him and not feel like he balled up his. You can dislike him and not feel like he balled up his morals and threw his humanity to the side for not saying what you wanted him to say in the moment. Well, okay, him reneging and not saying what you wanted him to say in the moment. Okay, like you can. That's where the hate comes in because
I don't have to agree
because you feel like
right
because you feel like he balled it up and threw it away. No, he didn't. He just didn't say what you wanted him to say in the moment. He didn't. It wasn't really that serious. Kanye saying he likes Hitler.
I don't hate him for not saying what I said in the moment. I didn't say I hated nigga. I said I didn't like him. I don't like Dave Chappelle for the reasons I stated before. You keep saying hate because you love this nigga so much. It's strange.
I think you hate Dave Chappelle, bro.
I think you love him.
You do, man. I noticed a change in your demeanor and your attitude. I noticed a change in your demeanor, your attitude. We podcasted about it
so much. How often do you think about Dave Chappelle in your day?
Yeah, I do love Dave Chappelle so much because he's been entertaining me.
You think about him very often.
He's been entertaining me since I was a. He's been entertaining me since I was a child. You know what I'm saying? So I have more good to judge from Dave Chappelle than bad. So yeah, I would say I do love Dave Chappelle. Like he is one of the guys that I would still go watch one of his comedy specials or watch one of his movies. Like
if Dave Chappelle
I don't think
yelled,
see when I say the word hate. When I say the word hate, it's because you won't even pay for a ticket to go to Dave Chappelle's show. That's hate.
What the fuck would I pay for a ticket to go to?
Because you would have before the transgender comedy special.
Why would I do that?
Because he's funny. He's a comedian. You don't want to go see a comedy show? You just said you want to go to.
There's a lot of niggas that are funny. I'll pay to go see.
All right. Well,
a lot of them.
I'm just saying.
I like Kevin Hart. He's pretty funny to me. I still want to pay this nigga. You know why?
I have more good to say about Dave Chappelle than bad.
On a PlayStation. On my computer.
I have more good to say about Dave Chappelle than bad. So I guess for me, yeah, I do love Dave Chappelle. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna.
That's good, man.
You know, he would have to do something like just
say
straight morally wrong. I think I'm more forgiving than you, Juice.
Okay. Morally wrong, like not taking the position on the death of 10,000 civilians.
Allegedly, because that's what the person in the we don't know what Dave Chappelle actually said.
He has no position right now.
Well, that's fine.
Now,
but we don't know what he actually said. We don't know what was said in that show. There's no audio.
You're missing.
That's fine. I mean, neither does. Who else doesn't have a position? You can name 100 other people who don't have a position right now.
Hey, yeah.
But we're going off. We're going off what was said in this article.
You have to look at these niggas for what they are. That shit is immoral. It's wrong to not have a position on the death of 10,000 civilians.
Why is that wrong? Why is that wrong? I mean, did Eddie Murphy come out with a position on the death of 10,000 civilians? It's not. I'm not saying it's not wrong to not. It's not wrong for the 10,000 civilians to die.
All right. Let me ask you personally: is it wrong that 10,000 civilians were killed in indiscriminate bombings across Palestine? Civilians who did children and women. Is that wrong?
Unnecessary loss of life. Of course it's wrong.
So you're and have more conviction than Dave Chappelle and Eddie Murphy.
I'm in a very different position than Dave Chappelle and Eddie Murphy. And same as you. You're not in the same position as them.
How?
So you can't judge what they can. If
your job was on the line right now, would you think it's not? Or do you think it's okay all of a sudden if your job was on the line?
I mean, it depends, dog. It's hard to
think it's bad that these people
Juice, I get what you're saying, but it's hard to put yourself in Dave Chappelle's shoes at that moment. We don't know his career, the way it would have been
I'm asking
impacted.
you.
There's a reason, and now I can say it's wrong, right?
And can you
You're
say
mad
you
at
can
Dave
love a nigga?
Chappelle.
Can you say
You're
you
mad
can
at
love
Dave
a nigga
Chappelle.
who holds that position?
You're mad at Dave Chappelle for not saying that it's wrong and not
Anyway,
condemning it in the moment,
I'm gonna
right?
make this personal. I already did. All right, I'm sorry. I'm making this shit personal. I'm not trying to make this shit personal. All right, we got to
It's
move
never
on because
personal.
this
It's a
shit ain't.
podcast. I mean, we're already at 2.5 hours. I think we, you know, what I mean, it's
Hey, you
11:09
want to do
p.m. East
am
Coast
I the
Standard
asshole
Time.
though? Frank, you
Yeah, sure.
am I the asshole, Jump?
Yeah, sure.
So we get so in on either a light or a heavy note, depending on how this goes. But anyway, I just wanted to put that out there, right? I think I made my position clear. I think everybody understands where I'm at on this. I get it's fine, right? It's all good. I just wanted to end the segment saying that, you know what I'm saying? Shit. Do I have 3 minutes?
3 minutes.
I do want to play one thing. This is Ta-Nehisi Coates about what he saw when he went to Palestine and Israel. And the person who I do respect, who I do like, right? So let me just play this joint real quick. And hopefully it comes through clearly. I might be tripping. Okay.
And so while I had my skepticisms and I had my suspicions of the Israeli government, of the occupation, what I expected was that I would find a situation in which it was hard to discern right from wrong. It was hard to understand the morality at play. It was hard to understand the conflict. And perhaps the most shocking thing was I immediately understood what was going on over there. Probably the best example I can think of, we went to Hebron, and the reality of the occupation became clear. We were driving out of East Jerusalem. I was with the Palestinian, with PalFest, and we were driving out of East Jerusalem into the West Bank, and you could see the settlements, and they would point out the settlements, and it suddenly dawned on me that I was in a region of the world where some people could vote and some people could not, and that was obviously very, very familiar to me. I got to Hebron, and we got out as a group of writers, and we were given a tour by a Palestinian guide, and we got to a certain street, and he said to us, "I can't walk down this street. If you want to continue, you have to continue without me." And that was shocking to me. And we walked down the street, and we came back, and there was a market area. Hebron is very, very poor. It wasn't always very poor, but it is very, very poor. Its market area has been shut down. But there are a few vendors there that I wanted to support. And I was walking to try to get to the vendor, and I was stopped at a checkpoint. Checkpoints all through the city. Checkpoints obviously all through the West Bank. Your mobility is completely inhibited, and the mobility of the Palestinians is totally inhibited. And I was walking to the checkpoint, and an Israeli guard stepped out, probably about the age of my son. And he said to me, "What's your religion, bro?" And I said, "Well, I'm not really religious." And he said, "Come on, stop messing around. What is your religion?" I said, I'm not playing. I'm not really religious." And it became clear to me that unless I professed my religion, and the right religion, I wasn't going to be allowed to walk forward. So he said, "Well, okay, so what was your parents' religion?" I said, "Well, they weren't that religious either." What were your grandparents' religion? And I said, "My grandmother was a Christian." And then he allowed me to pass. And it became very, very clear to me what was going on there. And I have to say, it was quite familiar. Again, I was in a territory where your mobility is inhibited, where your voting rights are inhibited, where your right to the water is inhibited, where your right to housing is inhibited, and it's all inhibited based on ethnicity. And that sounded extremely, extremely familiar to me. And so the most shocking
It freeze?
I don't know if it freeze or stopped.
Is Juice still there? Did Juice leave?
Yeah, he's back now.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that was it. I'm having issues. Like it's I just wanted to share that. That's just Ta-Nehisi Coates going over his experience at when he was like visiting Palestine and seeing the just the crazy like
Can I offer a rebuttal?
apartheid situation over there, right? And how like people are treated for less than human, really just based on their ethnicity or even their religion, right? So I just thought that was like a rebuttal.
Can I
Yeah,
offer a thought on that? I think,
yeah.
like, just like I was saying earlier, like, we have to be careful with our American sensibilities, right? Ta-Nehisi is an American, right?
Yes.
So you come with your American ideals, and you got to realize you're in a different country, bro. Like, you know, you're comparing the country you're in to the country you're from, and it's apples to oranges, man. Like, you can't expect to go halfway across the world and things to work the same way they work in America. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm not saying what's going on there is right or wrong,
It's not right.
but from a moral standpoint, I would probably say you're right. It's not right, right? Anytime innocent lives are lost, it's not right. But you can't compare your direct experience in America to to a Middle Eastern country, bro. Like they're different. You know what I'm saying? There are different ways to do things, different cultures, different world histories, different everything. You know what I mean? Like So that's the only thing. It's just like Dave Chappelle even making a joke about it. Like, be careful, man. You're in here doing a show in Boston with
He
your
wasn't making a
American
joke about
freedoms
it. He
and
was
liberties.
responding.
Okay, well, but you're speaking on something that we don't really know about. So I don't know. It's
All
my
right.
thing.
So I don't know. It's a lot to say, but anyway, we can move on. All right, cool. So I just wanted to share that junk. I thought he laid it out very clearly in a way that like our American sensibilities could like take in and understand. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
An apartheid state where they restrict your freedom based upon your ethnicity or religion
Yeah.
is wrong and bad, right? And whether it happened in America, it was bad. And when it happened in South Africa, it was bad. And when it happens in any country, right, it's bad. Right? And clearly. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
no, it's
sorry
definitely
guys.
bad. Yeah.
All right, let's do something lighter.